In this Windows 10 tutorial, I'll show you coolest features for beginners that I use every day. We'll start with the overview of the desktop, we'll look at the Start menu, we'll look at File Explorer settings, and I'll show you some coolest productivity tips. Stay here with me on this channel.
When you first log in into Windows 10, you see Start button, which you can click to get access to additional features, Cortana bar, then you have list of applications that are linked to the taskbar, then you have a status bar, and then you have a very quick button to get to the desktop. It's barely visible here on the taskbar. First, let's look at the Start button. When you click the Start button, you see a combination of what was available in Windows 10, Windows 8, and got morphed a little bit when Windows 10 was introduced. So this is the classic Start menu. You see the list of all the applications, which starts with recently added applications. And then in alphabetical order, based on each letter, it shows you what's installed on your computer. Now, some applications, as you can see, they have this arrow to the right, and which means that this is a folder, and applications underneath of this arrow, actual applications that you would need to click that are located in that particular folder. Here on the left, there is a section that shows you different functions, frequently used functions that are available. For example, the user ID that I'm using to record this video called video recording, and this button shows you that you can switch between different users in your computer. You can expand this view of the Start and switch between the users. This is what this first button is for. You can access documents for the given user, access pictures, or access settings available to you as a Windows 10 user. You can also obviously shut down, power off, and there are different options for sleep, shut down, and restart of the computer. On the right, it's a Tiles menu, which is useful for touchscreen devices, and there are three categories for the tiles: Create, Play, and Explore. And like I said, it's especially useful for the users that using the touchscreen devices. As you can see, Tiles is Microsoft's invention, and they are very useful if you don't just use the mouse, but use rather touchscreen, because they're bigger and much easier to click. Settings app is the simplified version of Control Panel that was available in Windows for a long time. Control Panel is still available. You can access it if you type the name of the applications in Cortana bar, Control Panel, and it shows up first on the list. And you can see and compare in the Settings app and in Control Panel that are available. I have them side by side, which are pretty much similar, but if you're used to more Control Panel, that it's probably going to be much easier for you to use, especially knowing that it's still available. Let me show you the easy way to access settings through the Start button. If you right-click on the Start button, you see that a lot of features available. And we see settings here, we see File Explorer, search, and even run, as well as shut down or sign out for the user and access to the desktop. So same Settings app I just showed to you. You can just right-click on the Start menu and select Settings, and it's available. I'm going to click Close and close Windows Settings app. Now let's look at the Tiles section on the Start menu. So in Tiles section, you see tiles, and as you can see, they're organized by groups, and tiles are of the different size. If you right-click on the tile, you have different options that are available. You can unpin from Start, which will remove it. Not the app itself, but it will just unpin and it will not show up. That's what pinning means. You can resize it, and there are 4 different sizes available. This is the medium size of the square. You can do a small size. You can also resize and make a wide size, and you can make a large size. Those are 4 different sizes that are available. I'm going to return it back to the medium size as it was, and as you can see, it fits nicely. And if I drag and drop tiles, especially if they match with the space available, you can organize them very nicely on your desktop. Each tile app, most of them also have additional settings, like for Weather app. So you can go into the app settings. Some tiles are live tiles, like for example, weather might show you the live weather based on your region selection, and you can configure it in settings, and you have some other additional options that are available. Let's look at the taskbar, and this is the bar at the bottom of the screen, which has multiple things. It has applications that could be opened based on your selection. For example, if you click on the Edge browser, you can open the Edge browser here on the screen. You can also see some other already opened applications. And indication that some application is opened is in this line that at the bottom of the application. You can also add additional applications to the taskbar, and the reason you might want to do it is so you can quickly launch them when you need to. For example, I do have Excel here pinned. The function of adding applications to taskbar is called pinning them, because you're not actually adding application or deleting, you're just pinning an existing application or unpinning an existing application. You see right now I have Excel because I quickly can launch it. I use it very frequently. So I can just click on Excel and it launches Microsoft Excel. But I don't have Microsoft Word available, so let me walk you through the steps of how to add Microsoft Word. To do that, you can type Word, and there are multiple ways to do it. You can launch it, and it shows up here, and this is Excel that showed up after a while, but I'm going to switch to Word. So you see that Word is running right now because there is a line under the application which shows the application is active. But if I close Word, it disappears from the taskbar. Unlike Excel, if I close Excel, Excel will stay. It's just the line underneath Excel will disappear. So let me launch Word again. And now I would like to pin Word to taskbar so it will be available even after I close Microsoft Word. To do that, I do right mouse click, and there are options here. One of them is pin to taskbar. And now when I close Word, Word still is available and I can launch it when I need to. As you can see, a lot of functions in Windows are available through right mouse click. So when you do right mouse click on the taskbar, it shows a menu that's specific to taskbar. And one feature that you might find very useful is the fact that you can move taskbar on the screen. Right now it's at the bottom, but that does not mean that it has to stay in the bottom. The only reason it's fixed right now is because it's locked. But if you select unlock taskbar, then you can drag and drop it. It could be on the right, it could be on the top if you like it to. And you just need to find the empty space which you can use to drag it from place to place. And you can move it around the screen, and all other windows adjust based on your moves. I'm going to move it back and lock it again.
Can I ask you to do me a favor? There are a lot of people that look for jobs that require skills described in this tutorial. Some of them even might be your friends. If you know somebody who would benefit from this tutorial and could potentially get hired by learning these skills, could you please share it with this person or group of people? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, as I'm trying to help as many people as I can. Now let's continue and have more fun.
I need to take screen prints in Windows 10 every day. Let me show you how to do it using the newest tool in Windows 10 called Snip Sketch. Let's navigate to cnn.com. And to launch Snip Sketch, you need to press Windows Shift S. And then you see cursor changes its appearance. And what you can do now, you can highlight the area of the screen that you're trying to select. And now Windows puts this information into clipboard automatically. And what you can also do, you can edit this image that you just selected, and maybe you want to share something with colleagues. So you highlight this using the highlighter tool, for example, and you sketch around. Then you can put it into clipboard again by using Control-C. And then let's say you need to paste it in Microsoft Word. You open blank document and use paste button to paste this information. And you see the sketcher and the highlighter I used remains in the image. You can make some additional editing as the tool as you wish. You can use maybe pencil, highlighter and pencil in different colors. It allows you to change the colors. We already looked at the highlighter. If you don't like something, you can erase it. This is an eraser. You can add a ruler, and you can change the ruler to protractor as well. If you don't like any of those, you can just remove them. Or you can crop the image and make it smaller and remove some things that you don't want to show in the image. Maybe you want to point out just specific sections of the image and the picture that you're trying to share. And once you're done with editing, you can save the image on your drive in a lot of different formats, or you can copy it into clipboard and use in other applications. Very cool features of Snip and Sketch. Snip and Sketch is an extremely useful tool and definitely improves your productivity in Windows 10. Another cool feature in Windows 10 is dark mode for File Explorer. By default, when you launch File Explorer, it shows with the white background, which a lot of times creates a lot of pressure on your eyes, especially if you watch on your screen long time during the day. So what Microsoft did, they enabled dark mode. Dark mode allows you to work longer without putting too much strain on your eyes. Let me demonstrate you how to launch dark mode. You go to Settings, Personalization, then you scroll down and go to Colors, and here you look at choose your default app mode, and by default it's light, but you can switch it to dark and see what happens. You see immediately background becomes dark, and it becomes dark in the settings as well as in File Explorer. So now I'm going to close settings. When I launch File Explorer, now you can work longer without feeling too much stress and being tired. Now let me show you Snap feature in Windows 10. Using Snap feature, you can work jointly with multiple applications. For example, I want to work with 2 copies of File Explorer so I can see in both copies how to copy information from one place in Windows in my file system to another location. To do that, I'm going to launch second copy of File Explorer. I already have one running, so I'm just going to click on the File Explorer again, and you see that there are 2 copies of File Explorer that are running. I'm going to say File Explorer, so you see that there are 2 copies running now. But I have to switch between the copies. Let's say if I want to navigate to different places, for example, from pictures, I want to copy some files into the documents. It's not very convenient. Obviously, I can rearrange the applications, but there is a Snap feature, and you use shortcuts, Windows button and right keyboard button. And what it does, it first of all shows all the applications that are running right now on the left, and it snaps the application that's currently in focus, and snaps meaning that it takes exactly half of the window, and it takes right half because I clicked Windows and the right button on the keyboard. Now let me do the same thing for the second copy of File Explorer. I just clicked on this and it filled the left half of the screen. As you can see now, both applications, with just a couple mouse clicks, they can fill the screen and use maximum space allowed, and I can see in both and I can navigate in both between documents, for example, in desktop and downloads folders, and I can drag and drop. And you can use it not just for File Explorer, you can use it for a lot of other applications if you're trying to see side by side and you don't have a second screen and just have maybe one laptop screen. This is what I currently have, and this is extremely useful feature and definitely improves productivity. Microsoft extended this feature even further. So for example, on the right side, if I make the File Explorer in focus, I can push the up button, Windows up, and then it holds exactly a quarter of the screen. And for example, I can fill in the lower part of the right side with the third application. So I can have 3 applications potentially, or even 4 applications if I do the same thing with applications on the left side. So very cool feature called Snap. Another cool feature in Windows 10 is Task View as well as Timeline. Let's look at those in more details. For example, if you want to see all applications currently running, you press Windows Tab, and it shows you that I currently have multiple applications open. But on top of that, it also shows you all the activities and all the applications that you used in the past. For example, I was doing research on the 1080p resolution size, and I can launch it and see what is the exact size of the 1080p resolution. Go back to my notes so you can see again. I'm going to press Windows Tab, key combination, and it shows you not just what's running today, but also all the work that you did in the past. By default, it keeps this data for 30 days, but you can extend it. Just see the instructions of how to add more days into Timeline. Now let's look at another cool feature in Windows 10, which is called virtual desktops. To use it, you need to go back to Task View, which you can do multiple times. This is a Task View button, or you can also use Windows Tab as we did in the previous review. What you can do here, you can click New Desktop, and then it launches. By default, your current set of applications become Desktop 1, and then you can create another Desktop 2. So what are desktops? Desktops allow you to set up a specific set of tasks and work on those specific set of tasks, imitating multiple computers. So for example, throughout my day, I do multiple tasks. For example, I research topics in the browser. And let's say that I want to do it in my Desktop 1. I launch browser, I launch multiple copies, and I launch all supporting applications related to this task. Maybe I have browser running. Maybe I have research going on here in this desktop. Now I want to switch and record the video. I only want to show relevant stuff in my recording. So what I can do for that, I can create a new desktop, right? Or switch back to my original desktop and complete the recording. And then the third task, maybe what I'm going to be doing for my video, I will be creating thumbnails. So I'll launch new desktop, desktop 3, and I'll have all relevant applications running in here, which might be Windows Paint, and maybe I'm using Photos app. So for example, now let me show you some cool features what you can do. You can switch between desktops. For example, as you go and complete research in our project and want to record video, you just switch from desktop 1 to desktop 2. You can also move applications from one desktop to another desktop. Let me show you how to do that. You just click Move to on the application and you choose between desktops. And you can open additional desktops and close the desktops. This is the close button, and to open a new desktop, you just click on the new desktop plus button and create a new desktop. And the last cool feature I'd like to show you is Cortana. Cortana can do a lot of things for you. Let me show you just some of the examples. To launch Cortana, you click on the Cortana button right on your taskbar, and you see it's listening and it's typing everything that I'm talking about. But let me reset that. And I'm going to show you a couple commands of what you can do in Cortana. What is the weather in Milwaukee? You see Cortana shows you the weather, and you can plan based on this information. Another thing you can do is tell me a joke. And you see Cortana just came up with the joke, which may or may not be funny to you. And other feature I use pretty often is launch Notepad. And because I have two notepads, I have to choose, but if it's unique enough, you can just choose default notepad application that you want, or maybe if it's a unique name, then you don't have to choose, and by default it will launch this application. And we will look now at the desktop itself. As you can see, desktop area allows you to organize frequently used applications as well. So you have icons for some of the applications that during installation loaded icons onto the desktop. You can organize them manually like I just did here, or you can also sort by, for example, name. You can rearrange them by size, item type, date modified, and you can look them at medium icon, large icons. You can look at them as a small icons, and there are some additional settings related to those desktop icons. Each icon on the desktop has its own set of settings, and if you do select the icon and then do a right mouse click, you can access all the settings, including properties for each app. It shows where app is located and how to execute it, as well as a lot of different tabs that are available specifically for this application. Desktop itself also has settings, and if you do a right mouse click on the desktop itself, obviously you can reorganize the icons, and I just showed you how to do it, and you can click refresh. You can also access display specific settings. So when I click that on the display settings option, it launches the settings app, and here it starts with the display options that are available to you. As you can see, I have 3 desktops and I can identify each one. So this is desktop number 3 where I'm recording this video, but I have 2 other desktops. You can rearrange them based on how they are configured. For example, you can put one desktop on top of the other, but this is not my configuration. I have 3 desktops next to each other in one line. And there are some other settings available. You just need to scroll down. For example, one of the very useful settings is the size of the font and how much text is available. Resolution. You have different resolutions available and you choose the best one typically. I choose the best one for recording. So I have higher resolutions available, which I'm not selecting here. And I do it so people can see this on the mobile devices as well as on the desktops. And then you can choose what to do with multiple desktops. You can duplicate content on the desktops, or you can extend desktops. So each display in your configuration will show its own set of applications, its own desktop, kind of would be an extension. So when you have 3 monitors, you will have desktop that would be located on 3 monitors, and you can drag it from one monitor to the other. Let me close display settings app, and let's look at the last part, which is the personalize. This part allows you to personalize your desktop, and it launches the settings app with the personalization option. So you can change the background and you can choose a different picture or solid color or slideshow, and you have some options. I have the left one, but if I'd like, I can choose a different option here. And as you can see, as soon as I selected the different option, my desktop content has changed, and now I have a different image on the desktop. I'm going to go back to personalize by right mouse clicking, and I'll choose different options how you would fit. This is helpful if your image is not exactly matching the size of your desktop, so you can choose a different options of how you would want to fit. And obviously, if you want to choose your own image, you have to upload it onto the Windows computer and then click Browse to find it and select it so it will show up on your desktop. One of the very important applications available to Windows users is File Explorer. So there are multiple ways to launch File Explorer. One of them is from the taskbar, and this is how I'm going to demonstrate it. You just click on the File Explorer, and it has multiple different sections, which we're going to look at momentarily. Quick Access, OneDrive, this PC, Libraries, and Network. Libraries is something that was introduced in Windows 7, so you have to enable them. I use them, so I have them available. You may not see libraries on your machine. But let me close File Explorer for now, and I'll show you another alternative ways to launch it. You do right mouse click on the Start button, and as you can see, File Explorer is available, which is the same applications. And the third way might be through Cortana bar. If you type File Explorer, this is the first app that shows up. Let's look at the key features of File Explorer. I'm going to launch it again. And as I mentioned, Quick Access is an area where you can pin quickly accessed folders that you need. By default, desktop downloads and documents and pictures are pinned here. If you don't like something being here, you can unpin it. For example, if you don't like maybe pictures be in this area, you can right mouse click and then select unpin from quick access, and then it removes pictures from there. As we go down the list, OneDrive is Microsoft's technology that allows you to exchange information. You have to sign up. There is a free account which has, I believe, 15 gigabytes of storage, which is very nice. If you connect it from multiple PCs, you should be able to access OneDrive, which is a cloud storage from Microsoft. And if you need more space, I think there's a paid version of that. So I clicked on this. It prompts me to enter my email address, assuming I already have an account for sign-in. If you don't have it, you can sign up with OneDrive. I'm going to close this dialog box and keep going. This PC allows you to access to key folders of this workstation, as well as access to Drive C. Libraries, I mentioned this is the feature that Microsoft is trying to retire. So I use it because I used it since Windows 7. but you do not have to. Quick access is a much nicer equivalent of libraries. And then network allows you to see which workstations are connected to your local network, so you can connect to those workstations and exchange data. Let me show you a couple cool things you can do with File Explorer, since as the name implies, it's very useful to work with the files. So I clicked on the documents and do have some sample documents here, and your view might be different, and I'll explain you why it might be different and how to change the view. So you see names of the files, date modified, type of the file, and size. Sometimes you don't see file extensions. I specifically enabled them, and I'll show you how to do that in case you're interested. But if you move through the tabs, and this is the ribbon interface, which as you can see has multiple tabs, in this case File, Home, Share, and View, and you can move between the tabs. And in the Home tab you have most frequently used functions. For example, you can have a new folder created by clicking a new folder button, and you can has the name of the folder. By default it's a new folder name, but you can just say it's documents. You just typed in the name. In the view, you select what type of view that you would like to have, and you can switch between details, which is what I currently have, maybe to list view, which is more simpler to understand. View details has a lot of information, or maybe content view, or just the icons, small, extra large, or medium types of icons. What I mentioned to you is that I enabled extensions because I'd like to see what type of file it is before clicking on the file. And to do that, I showed you, you need to click on the options. Again, I'm going to walk you through. You click on the view and then click on the options button, and it brings up the folder options dialog box. And there are multiple tabs here. One is General tab, another one is View tab, and this is where you select display file extensions here, as well as display some other options. So the specific option for file extensions is hide extensions for known file types. But I'd like to see everything, so I enable a lot of information. Even I'd like to see protected operating system files. So I'm going to click, show you another tab here, which is search specific tab, before I click cancel. So there are some settings of allows you to configure, for example, search options, and then what to do when searching on indexed location. This is helpful because if you search items in Cortana bar, you can also search for local items, and indexing allows you to speed up the search if you have many documents. So you point where the index would be located and in which folders you will be indexing, and then here in Cortana, if you type the name of the document and its index, it will allow you to find the document very quickly. Let me show you a couple ways to work with documents. I'm going to select, for example, sample Word file here, and as you can see on the right, it's a quick preview of this file, which is available for certain file types. For example, Microsoft Word, Excel, any Office product will have it, PDF will have it, and a lot of other applications will have it. So what you can do with the file is you can do a right mouse click and you can copy the file, and if you click on another place, you can paste the file, right? So simple copy and paste. And what Microsoft File Explorer did, it created a duplicate of this file at the bottom, and dash copy added a copy to the name of the file. So what I'm going to do, you can copy file in one folder, navigate to another folder, and then paste file in another folder. So I did copy and paste in the same folder just to simplify, and it's good for you to understand what just happened. But if I, for example, would like to create a duplicate of this file in another folder, I need to click copy, navigate to the folder documents, and then do a paste here, and this will copy and paste file here. To go back, you click the back button, back to the documents, right? And we see two files because they sorted in alphabetical order. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show another way to copy documents. I'm going to click on the file and drag and drop it, and I'm going to drop it, and it's going to move the copy file into the documents. I'm going to release the file, and it went right into the documents folder. I'm going to close File Explorer, and we will look at a couple other things that I wanted to share with you. Number one is power plan. This is the desktop I'm running and recording this video with, but you might experience the need of optimize the usage of the battery for your device. So to do that, you need to determine what's the best power plan for you. So you need to click the Start button and then click Settings. And then here you can just type Power and Sleep Settings or Edit Power Plan. Those are the good settings. I'm looking to edit power plan. And this shows you what kind of power plan is being used and what happens, how quickly display will turn off after you stop using the device, and how quickly computer will go to sleep, which helps to save battery time. If you'd like to look at more details, you click Advanced Power Settings, and this brings up this screen, which would allow you to configure a lot of different options of how battery power is being used. I'm going to click Cancel from this advanced screen, and I'm going to click Cancel from this power plan setting. And the last thing I'd like to show you is Windows Update. Windows Update settings. It's very important to keep your device up to date with Windows updates. Some of the updates are feature updates, some of them are security updates. It's not as important to download latest feature updates. Some of the features, in fact, turns out to be quite buggy, and some of them even were deleting user data. So you might want to consider postponing your feature updates. But it's definitely worth looking and downloading securities updates. So in order to check for updates and to see if your workstation is current, you click on this Check for Updates button, and you see that I do have some of the things that were missing. So it's very good to make sure that you download and keep your workstation up to date with security updates. A lot of times Windows might require a restart after downloading updates, and this is what happened to me. So you can either click Restart Now or Schedule Restart, or change active hours for when restart is available. I'm just going to cancel out this. Let's quickly recap everything we've covered in this tutorial. We started by looking at the Start button in Microsoft Windows 10. We looked at the different areas, Start area, and what are the options available. We've looked at how to launch the applications. You can find applications alphabetically by scrolling, or you can also type the application name in Cortana bar, which is available to find it quickly. We've also looked at the tile style menu and what you can do with the tiles, and we've looked at the Cortana bar for doing some special assistant activities, or to help you find documents on your device, or to help you find the applications. We also looked at the taskbar and how you can pin applications to the taskbar or unpin applications from taskbar. Then we've looked at the status bar, which is to the right of the applications that are being pinned. And we've looked at how you can drag and drop specific icons from the status bar and put them back and onto the status bar itself. We've navigated and looked at the desktop area of Microsoft Windows 10. We've looked at what you can do with the icons by selecting the icon of the application and looking at the different options that are available. We've looked at the desktop itself, how you can organize things on the desktop. Looked at the display settings and personalization settings. And then we've looked at the File Explorer application. And we've looked at what is available from File Explorer, how you can change settings, change views, and how you can access Quick Access Bar, OneDrive, what's on this PC, libraries, and network. We've also looked at the settings for the applications, and we've looked at them through Accessing Settings, which is the new version of Accessing Settings in Windows, and also the old way of accessing settings through Control Panel.
If you like the content, please make sure to click the like button and share with your friends. Also, there's tons of information in the description of this video. Make sure to check it out.
Make sure to check out my other relevant videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have a lot of great stuff planned in the pipeline, and I don't want you to miss any of it. And if you'd like to get notified about all the new stuff that are coming out, make sure to subscribe to my email list as well. All links are here on the screen. Make sure to click to stay in touch. Thanks again for watching.